Gemini, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. So here we go. Ooh, Gemini. It looks to me like you are hoping to get out of your head and hoping to drop a burden. So it feels to me like you've been overthinking a situation. You've been overthinking this situation pretty intensely. And you're now recognizing that all you are is stuck in your head. I keep quoting Alan Watts these past 2 weeks, and I don't know why, but as Alan Watts would put it, is you're stuck with chatter in the skull, just thoughts upon thoughts, you know. So you've recognized that you've separated yourself from the reality and the facts because you're just literally overthinking the process. So you're analyzing the thoughts that you had about the thoughts that you had about the actual facts. So you're trying to drop the burden of putting your own perspective on it, and you're hoping to get down to the basics and back to the reality and what's actually happening without your particular perspective. It takes a very mature attitude, Gemini, to be able to remove your feelings, your thoughts upon thoughts from a situation and look at it objectively like that. But that's really what you're hoping to do. You're hoping to take the mature approach of this burdensome situation and take yourself out of it and look at it as just the situation as is. The fear that you have is that if you reflect on it too much, then you really won't steer your way out of the situation at all. So you recognize that there is an emotional pull to this situation, okay, that gets you to a point of intellectual gridlock, because once you start to see what's best for you, your head and your heart don't agree, so you start overthinking the process. So like I said, it takes a very mature energy to recognize this particular habit isn't serving you any good and to actually try and remove yourself from it and just break it down to the very basics of what it is. Sometimes when I find myself doing that, I make bullet points of what is the fact of the situation and what is my perception or my feelings or my thoughts about the situation. So then I'm left with the object, the objectivity on one side and the subjectivity on the other. So if that's what you're working with right here, that might be a way to help you get through it, to actually say, these are the facts of the matter, and this is my opinion of the matter. This is how I feel about the matter, you know? The reality of the situation is you are tired of constantly appraising this and you're ready to take action. But again, you're learning about how to put that emotional lid, because the Queen of Cups, this is the only cup in the entire Rider-Waite deck that has a lid on it, because she's spilt her cup before and she's learned those lessons. So it seems to me like in the reality, you are tired of appraising a certain situation because you've already learned the lesson in your head, but you haven't accepted the lesson in your heart. Ooh. We have the Knight of Wands to the King of Wands, which is interesting. Because the Knight of Wands, if this were a love read, I often reference this guy as the guy who rides into town with his dick in his hand. You always want to look out for this guy because what this means is this is somebody who comes in and makes a lot of changes and doesn't think about the consequences. However, that's the King of Wands right here. So it feels like the King of Wands is a benevolent leader, and this is the person who not only has to deal with the consequences of himself, but he also has to take the responsibility and deal with others' consequences. So what this tells me is that there is progression and there is growth in this energy right now. You used to not be able to pull your feelings out of it. Geminis are known as the twins, and a lot of people reference them as like, I don't even want to say two. Well, a lot of people reference them as two-faced. That's Gemini and like low vibration energy. But in Geminis get a bad reputation of being wishy-washy, of flipping sides. But the reason Geminis flip sides so often is because they do every once in a while, and in the high vibrational mature energy, they want to break everything down to facts. So if a Gemini feels a certain way about a certain situation, they're very intellectual people. So if they feel a certain way about a certain situation, and then somebody comes in and debates with them and they bring in new information, the Gemini will stand their ground in that particular debate. But if they see new information that intrigues them, they will then go home and research. So a Gemini might come back to you a week or two later and be like, hey, you know what? I now see your side of the perspective, where nobody else was there for the debate and nobody else was there for the research. So people looking from the outside in see the Gemini as saying, well, he was he was an absolute Democrat in March of 2021. And now we're in February of 2022, and he's saying all these conservative things, and he's, leaning towards a Republican candidate or what. Do you see what I mean? I'm just using political parties because it makes it, I don't know, let's break it down to something even simpler, okay? Maybe you had a conversation with somebody that blue is your favorite color. And you're like, well, blue is my favorite color because X, Y, Z, da, 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 da. And somebody else said, yeah, but have you ever considered purple? Because purple, da, 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 da. And then you go online and you research something as arbitrary or crazy as like the light sound bridge. And you learn about chakras and this and that. And then that purple energy now speaks to you. So you go back to your friend and be like, you know what? We were talking about that blue and purple, and now I see your point. Now purple is my favorite color because of blah, blah, blah chakra. So it's a very, very specific reason you made that change. But other people just know that you switched from blue to purple, and they're like, oh, Gemini. They're wishy-washy. You know what I mean? So with the political one and the color one, I hope you guys found an explanation that shows that. But that's the type of change I'm showing here. You were one way. You were just running through and not dealing with the consequences and not caring about what you left behind. And maybe other people were stuck with your messes. Now you're going back and you're going, oh, not only am I capable of being responsible for who I am now, but I can go back and fix some of these things that they'll right some of these wrongs from the past. And not only that, but I can hold on to this responsibility that I wasn't holding on to before. So there's a grown up action here. There's a maturity that's happening to you right now when you're looking at things more objectively than subjectively. You're in that research mode where Geminis change their mind, except in this particular read, you're changing your lifestyle. You're changing your habits. It's a huge drain on your resources, specifically your time management. But the change is so profound in you that it's worth it. So Gemini, your closest friends and family that helped you point out the habit that you have of overthinking, overanalyzing, of being more subjective than objective will see this change in you, and they'll see growth and they'll commend you for it. That other group of friends that isn't as close will only see you as being wishy-washy. I hope you were able to follow that from back to forth, because I think I went into like 4 different storylines and even confused myself a little. But the point of this reading is to explain that the drain in resources that you're feeling is only going to get stronger as you continue to grow up. Okay? Because this drain in resources is a drain on your time. You will find less and less free time as you take on more responsibility of researching what you need to know rather than just going with your gut feeling. Also, as far as resources go, because resources can be health, they can be wealth, and they can be time management. There's a subset in time management in regards to who you spend your time with, because who you spend your time with can be a resource in regards to networking. It can also be a drain in regards to negative attitude. So you know how I was talking about those people who weren't there for the information process and weren't there for the debate, and they look at you as being wishy-washy or two-faced? You're going to get a negative backlash every time you elevate to a higher frequency. So as you elevate to a higher frequency, You cannot take everybody with you. So this drain in resources can mean as you grow up, you come in less and less contact with your friends who don't understand how to grow up themselves. Gemini. There is no growth without discomfort. So as I see this new mature approach washing over you, you're going to have to get comfortable with or you're going to have to adapt to the environment in which you lose a little bit of free time, because grown-ups don't have a lot of free time because they're always busy with responsibility. So you gain more responsibility and you lose a little bit more free time. And you might find that your friends are washing away as well. So you have to learn how to say goodbye to a lot of things in order to step into this new mature approach. It's a sacrifice, but I believe it's worth it. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good. And if I didn't know any better, I would say this is the very beginning of a glow up. So accept it for what it is. If you don't know what a glow up is, Google it. Watch a couple other tarot card readers. They'll tell you what that is. And I will see you next week. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good.